Today, we're looking at a blue-black ink by Kailo no Oto. Naburo Iro, because there's no way I was remembering that with all of the pronunciation. Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm an ink guy. Down below there's timestamps so that if there's only certain things you're interested, you can skip around to it. But if you've got the time, I would appreciate you checking out the entire video. You can also follow me over on Instagram. And if you like fountain pen ink reviews and are new here, I would invite you to subscribe. In order to make sure I have a range of experience with this ink, I do the writing samples. I then inked up this Pierre Cardin President with a medium nib. I wrote with it for a day and used it to take the notes for this video. In order to standardize, I always use Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper in this first writing sample. There will be more writing samples on different papers later in the video. Now, let's look at the writing sample. I picked this ink up in sample form, so it came in a vial like this one. And to keep my writing samples consistent, I use a Jinhao 159 with a Goulet 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a Goulet medium, and a Jinhao X750 with a Goulet extra fine. Let's take a look at the Clairfontaine. We get no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. Now the extra fine, the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 11 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 21 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation because there is none. Tomoe River has no bleeding, normal Tomoe River ghosting. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. 18 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 35 seconds to dry. Now interesting, the scrubbies, and we're really not going to be able to see it here. It's not going to come through on camera. I'll see if we can get a decent picture of it when I do the swab. The scrubbies are showing some sheening, but we don't get any sheen in the writing samples. They show no color variation. We don't get any color variation. The medium took 35 seconds to dry. I think I forgot to say that. Rhodia, no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1, no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 13 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub. No feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 24 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show no color variation. We didn't expect it, and we didn't get it. I agree with Vita that we can learn a lot by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. I put a line of ink down and immediately put it in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we see that the blue that pushes up is very, very dark. And then we have the black across the top, or that's so dark a blue, it looks black. Now the one on the right, I let dry for 10 minutes before I dunk it into water. There's a blue line that's a bit more noticeable on the bottom where it looks like it started to bond with the paper some, but not too bad. And generally, with the exception of that slightly darker line on the bottom, these two chromatographies look the same. Resistance tests are done to see how well this ink can be expected to perform on the page and how hard it may be to clean from your pen. I let the smear dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, don't do it. Don't highlight this in your notes. It's not going to work out well for you. Let's just leave it at that. Now, water is lifting all the darkest tones, but it's leaving some of that very light blue that we saw in the second chromatography on the bottom. It's not entirely breaking it free. Pen Flush is having a lot of the same problem. It seems to have done even less than the water does, which makes me feel like, maybe give water a little longer and see if it'll do it. Then try the Pen Flush, but I don't think the Pen Flush is going to fully get it. Now the 1/3 bleach solution completely obliterates this ink very quickly, 30 seconds. There's a slight discoloration on the paper. But if you use the 1/3 bleach solution, make sure you rinse your pen with water immediately so that you don't rust your metal bits. I test viscosity or flow with a thing called a tilt test. I'll link it somewhere down below or up in the cards. Now, for the inks I've tested, I have found an average viscosity of 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Tag, Kaona Oto's Nureba Iro has a viscosity of 1.41, making this a very wet ink. To find my average dry times, I use my writing samples done on Clairfontaine, Tomoe River, and Rhodia paper. I average those, and for the inks I've tested, I found an average dry time of 17 seconds, with a realm of normal being from 13 to 21 seconds. Tag Kaona Oto's Nureba Iro has an average dry time of 20 seconds, which is the slower side of normal, but still normal. Instead of finding inks that look like Kaona Oto's Nureba Iro, I would prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page, and being such a dark ink, we need something brighter, like a nice red. Diamine's Brilliant Red. The second writing sample is done on black and red, white lines, and Vinta paper. Here we have black and red notebooks. On black and red, we have no bleeding, no ghosting. The 1.1 is no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade, 7 seconds to dry. The medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade, 11 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, and we didn't get it. White lines, which has done very well with a bunch of different inks, not so well with this one. We do get ghosting with the extra fine with the stub. We do get a bunch of bleeding spots, but they don't come through and touch the next page. The medium would stop us from using the back of the page. The extra fine wouldn't. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade, 5 seconds to dry. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, or shade, and 9 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show us no color variation, because there is no color variation. Last up is Vinta notebooks, the Modern Traveler. Well, the medium does have some bleed spots. The extra fine has a couple. The stub has a couple. In the extra fine, I think you could use this and be able to use the back of the page, given the use of this notebook. So it's not just saying, oh, it's garbage because it has bleed through or it has a bunch of ghosting, which it does, but it's about its application and saying, will it do it well? And I think it will. The 1.1 has no feather spread, halo sheen, and no shade. The extra fine is the same tone as the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 5 seconds to dry. Very good for a pocket notebook. Medium is the same tone as the extra fine and the stub, with no feather spread, halo sheen, no shade, 7 seconds to dry. Still very good for a pocket notebook. Scrubby for both show us no color variation. We didn't expect it, we didn't get it, and that is all that I have for the writing samples. So what do I think of Kaona Oto's Nureba Iro? As a blue-black, it is far too black for me. It really misses the mark for me. I was not able to get it to show as a blue-black as anything other than a black, regardless of what pen or paper I used. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience? For a black ink, choose any pen you want. It's a dealer's choice. It is always going to look as a very dark, rich black. If you've enjoyed this video, remember, I like thumbs up, you like thumbs up, everybody likes thumbs up. Unless you didn't like it, then give me the thumbs down. Both are good. Thanks for watching.